Good morning. It is Thursday, September 4th, about 2 minutes before 4 a.m. Gonna go over the stocks I'm watching. There were a few that closed nicely in after hours yesterday. First up is BRIA. You see it popped up here to 644 and pulled back going into 8 p.m. It's forming kind of a wedge. It's kind of loose, but I think this one is worth watching. Float is 2.5 million. It was a recent IPO. All-time high was 438, which we're above from the after-hour session yesterday. So this thing already is a blue sky setup. This is the one I'm going to be watching probably mostly going into 4 a.m. I want to see if we can break above about 525 and then push through the high of 644 and then just go. NCI is another one under 400,000 shares, extremely low float. The 200's about $1 away. It's at 373. It closed at 275. I'm not going to be watching. I'm not going to have this one pulled up on a chart. I'm going to try to watch it on the scanner, but I think there's better opportunities. Primarily because this one's so close to the 200 EMA. It's major resistance. It might move up $1 and then reject. ZNB, I have on my second chart. This one popped up to 222, pulled back, and looks like it's trying to move higher going into 8 p.m. 200's at 188, so this thing must have had some reverse splits. Basically, there's a lot of room to the 200. If you zoom in on the daily chart, the first significant pivot is at 337. It topped on August 22nd, and then it topped again on August 19th at 337. So that's kind of a significant area. If we can break through that, then 5 and a move up to 13, 14. So that's kind of what I'm watching. I also have BSLK on my third chart. That one popped up yesterday as well. That one's giving us some good moves. So see what we can do. All right, BRIA, 42, 43, 5. I want to see it break over about 525. I'm going to go ahead and get in right there. I'm at 524. It's not popping up as much as I had hoped. I took 300 shares at 524. I'll give it a second, see what it does. I think it could at least hit 560. It'd be nice if it blow through that. 568, kind of a larger seller. 570. I'll go ahead and take part right there. Took a quarter, I mean. All right, can this thing hold that support level? It'd be nice if this 1 minute would hold and then push higher like that. I want to see breakthrough 584, 6. Okay, then 644. Can we get through 644? Get them at 524. I'm only watching this one. I don't know what the rest of them are doing. ZMB popped up to 215, and then BSLK is not doing much. Okay, I'm gonna take another quarter at 610. I'm long 169 at 524. I'm really hoping this thing can push through 644. If it goes through 644, it could start moving. $640. I saw a larger seller. I don't know how many shares. I think it was like 2,000 or 3,000. The candle's saying it popped up to 646. I did not see that. Be nice if this current candle would kind of consolidate, sort of a short body candle, and the next 1 minute would push through the high. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take the rest off right there. 6 was kind of my stop. If this thing pushes back through the high, which is 630, I'll look to get back in. Looks like BSLK's popping. Okay, if this thing can push through 630, I'll look to get in with another 100 shares. It looks like ZNB. Okay, NCI is sold off, so I'm glad we're not watching that one. But I still have ZNB and BSLK up. ZNB is trying to push through 222. BSLK is moving higher. What was the daily? Oh yeah, BSLK has some room. Might just have some bag holders on BSLK from last week. So BSLK is putting in a nice move. It's the third leading gapper on the scanner. I'm actually going to change charts. Put BRIA here. Put ZMB down here. Okay. So BRIA, I want to see if we can get through 646. BSLK, I like. I'm just afraid it has bag holders because it put in such a nice move over the past few weeks. So I'm a little, I don't know. I'm hesitant on that one unless we got a really nice setup. All right, I still like BRIA over 646. That is a bit of a high entry, but I think if we can push through that, you're not going to have any levels above. If you're going for the 1 minute pullback, your proper entry was 612. Okay, BSLK pulling back. That's what I was afraid of. I feel like there's a lot of sellers on that one. I don't know how many are up at 4 a.m., but if you look at the daily chart, it did put in nice moves back here. August 13th, and then it kind of sold off from there, pop up, sold off. So I'm afraid you have bag holders all the way up through 1750. So you might have some resistance on that one. It is a nice float though, 2.7 million. BRIA's 2.5. BSLK trying to push through 520. BRIA is setting up kind of a loose ABCD. So your A is 646, B 591, or sorry, that would be your A. Your B is 636. So as long as we don't break below 591, this is still a valid setup. I need to look through the break of 536. ZMB selling off. Run through the scanner real quick. I don't want to lose sight of the 5 minute on BRIA. If this current 5 minute candle can stay short bodied like that, I would definitely take the next 5 minute candle to make a new high. That actually looks really nice. So I think ideal scenario, it just kind of consolidates sideways here, doesn't break out, doesn't break down, and then at 410, we'll be looking for that first 5 minute candle to make a new high. BSLK popped up to 521, but it hit some resistance. I wasn't watching the level 2, so I don't know if you have a huge seller up there. Looks like you got 3,000 shares at 520. If BSLK pushes through 646, I'll go ahead and get in. I would like that to happen in the next 5 minute candle, but if it goes early, we'll take it. I'm definitely not paying attention to the scanner, so there could be something else popping up. So BRIA is the top gapper, BSLK second. HYFT, kind of a higher float given the market context. ZMB is just chopping sideways. BDSX, penny stock. NCI kind of broke down. AEO too big. E-log, that one has potential, but it's not moving, no volume. Same with MTEX. That's kind of the top 10. You can see BSLK, it broke through that level of 520, but it only popped up by 21 cents and then it pulled right back under it. That's just what I'm afraid of with that one. I don't know. I think this early you're going to hit resistance levels. Maybe wait until there's more volume. Maybe between 6 a.m. and 6 a.m. on, and then you might have enough to push through. Still watching BRIA. The plan right now is to see what the next 5-minute candle does at 410. If it can break through 627, I will jump in that. I only have about $2,900 of buying power. I am in a cash account under the PDT rule. That first trade I took 300 shares on BRIA at 5, so that's about 1,500. So I've got about 1,400 left. I might take 200 shares of BRIA if it pushes through 627. I don't know though. I might only take 100. I kind of want to save some buying power for later in the day. I think we had a lot that moved yesterday from about 7 a.m. on. And I'm thinking we might have the same kind of action today, kind of like sympathy or continuation from all those moves yesterday. Not necessarily the same stocks, but that same like trend where you had a lot of things popping up. All right, so we got 15 seconds to the next 5-minute candle, which I like. Stop is VWAP right now, which is 6. Entry price is 627, high of the current 5-minute. Okay, let's see what it does. I think I'll only take 100. I would prefer to save some buying power for later. And as strong as BRIA is, I will give this another 5-minute candle if we need. All right, so we're looking through push of 627. Go ahead and take 100 there. I got in a little early, 623, 640, 648. Okay, there you go, 660. So 660 is the high. Give it a second, see if it can move higher. I kind of thought it would rip, but it hit 660 and then dipped back down. High is 660. Kind of some topping tails on these 1-minute candles, which is somewhat surprising. I guess you might have short sellers shorting the high. I'm still in this 100 shares at 623. 660. Gonna break through. Yep, 664. I'm gonna go ahead and take a quarter. The thing didn't pop like I thought it would. It's interesting. Still watching BRIA. I have 75 shares at 623. So it is kind of struggling between 646 and 664. I'm gonna pull up the daily real quick. You can see on the daily recent IPO on looks like November 27th of last year, 2024. All-time high is 438. So there shouldn't be any resistance essentially above 438. Okay, it hit 670. Still struggling, which I do find surprising. I wouldn't think this would be easy to borrow, being a recent IPO, but I suppose it could be. Webull does show if it's easy to borrow or hard to borrow, but not on this type of layout. I forget, you have to be in a certain window to show it, and I don't remember what that is. There's like a blue downward 45-degree arrow if it's easy to borrow, and then if it's hard to borrow, it just says HTB. Okay, so we are moving higher, but it's just like inching along. It's not really breaking out like I thought it would. Still in this though, 75 shares of 623. I'd like to see if we can get through 7. And then if we can and we actually start moving, I'm going to look for either an extension candle where it shoots up quickly and then pulls back. If it does that, I'm going to go ahead and take out the full position because those usually, they're like a rubber band. They snap up and then they snap right back down. And that's usually the high of the move until it consolidates. Or I think right now if it breaks back below 650, I'll take the rest of the position. You could also play this bar by bar. So if we break the low of the previous bar, but I kind of want to give this room. I do think it can get moving. I just think it might take some time. I don't want to get knocked out of it before it starts. Okay, 704. Let's see how it does around the $7 level. We're in the new 5-minute candle, so the high of the last 5-minute candle was 704. So as long as we're above that, this thing should keep moving. All right, so I'm just gonna sit back, let this thing work till it gives us like a valid exit indicator. I'm still seeing a lot of red on the tape, but it's continuing to push higher. There you go, 725. We're getting some longer bodied candles, which I like. I do have my hand on the sell button in case it does that extension and whips back. But for right now, I'm just gonna let this thing work. Okay, you got a bit of a topping tail forming. Nope, pushing through it. If this thing starts moving, I think the target would be 10. 10's usually a level. Um, so I guess that would be the target. I don't want to give back too much profit. And I think this day P&L up here is accurate. My position window is showing the same thing, and the position window is usually right. All right. Take it another quarter, 723. One's not going, so I'm canceling. Guess that was a good cancel because it pushed higher. Okay, I took another quarter there at 727. All right, I'm gonna switch windows back down to the bottom. Okay. All right. Low of that red candle was 7-Eleven. So if we break 7-Eleven, I'm going to go ahead and take the full position. I'm kind of hoping this 1 minute candle we're forming right now will just blast off. Break through the high 735 and then 757. Like I said though, stop right now is 7-Eleven. I gave this thing a pretty wide stop. I thought it would kind of turn and burn and start putting in really long bodied candles, but it's not. Slightly unfortunate, but we still got some good trades. I mean, my P&L on it right now is about $300, so can't really complain. I saw 7-Eleven for a second. I wasn't quick enough. I was looking at the P&L. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the rest. Okay. So we're out. Got filled at 7:04. Now the day P&L's messed up. So I did not lose $113. I did sell lower than I had hoped. I was kind of hoping to get a full dollar a share move, so sell at 723, but I got filled at 704. So I don't know. Days P&L is probably like 285 or something. I did only take 100 shares on that. I guess in hindsight it would have been better to take 200, but I still have some buying power. Should have about $800 in buying power left. So I think I'm going to save that until maybe 637, see if we can get something to move. You can see this 5 minute setup. This is, I think I said it in the first video I posted when I started trading at 4 a.m. That third 5 minute candle on the day, if it can break the high of the previous 5 minute candle and it's one of your top leading gappers, it works like 80% of the time. And that's the second trade I took on this. I mean, you can see here, high of that red, or the high of the second red 5 minute candle, 627. Get in for that, and you got to move all the way up to 757. It's a pretty solid move. And I got in a little early at 623. I was watching the level 2 in the tape, and it was starting to give some momentum on this 1 minute candle right here. So once I saw that, I had pretty high confidence it was going to break through, so that's why I took the early entry. It was only 4 cents. It would have been nice to get in just a couple seconds earlier. Yeah, it's a good trade. So looking at the 1 minute candles here, it looks like it hit a low of 7 and is curling back up. I bet this thing will, well, no, I don't know. I was going to say the way the market works, now that I'm out of it, it's probably going to rip to like $10, $15 a share. All right, I'm going to go through the scanners real quick. So you got BRIA, obviously leading gapper, blue sky setup, no resistance from here on out. Even though it is kind of grinding, you don't have any technical resistance levels. BSLK, it's kind of stuck in this 5 to 520 range. Again, though, if you look at the daily, you're way down here, and you basically have people who could be bag holding from $5 all the way up to about $17.50. That was kind of the red flag on this one for me. I wasn't sure it was going to start ripping. It did put in a nice move at 4. You could have got a break of the 5-minute candle that closed yesterday. So take a break at 376, and then you got to move up to 541. So it's still a good move, but I was focused on BRIA. ZMB, it broke that descending resistance line, but then kind of fell right back below it. And it looks like it's slowly curling up. I like the daily chart on this one, but it's just not moving too much. PDSX, high float, penny stock, NCI, kind of sold off. It's not doing much. AEO float is too high. HYFT, higher float given the context of these under 10 million, under 1 million share float stocks. Census penny, CRDO float is too high. ELOG, this one could still give a potential move later in the day, or later this week. You see it's a recent IPO, all-time high 360. It's been kind of beaten up since it debuted. But it has a lower float, so it's kind of one to keep in the back pocket in case it starts moving. Okay, I think that's gonna do it for now. Head off to the gym. Be back probably around 6:15. See if we can keep trading. Still not right. It should be around 2, I think 280, 290. So pretty solid. Let's see, my last sell was at 419. So pretty solid first 20 minutes to start the day. Good luck, everyone.